Yeah. Well, good morning. Good morning for the fourth. Welcome to the fourth session of the the workshop, decision making and the risk and uncertainty. Is today is our final session, and I explain it this topic or the final topics about decision and um, to generating new ideas and decisions. In terms of the time, was perhaps at 50 from 50 yes, approximately on 50:30 we'll carry out a break from, well, perhaps 50 at 50 o'clock we will carry out a break, and then until 30, and then we will continue. So more or less at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, we will stop it, and then we will come back at 3:30 to finish at 4:30. That will be the time of this workshop. So today, as usual, let me show you the exercises that you need to do in that model. Well, I want to finish it before, and then I will explain the different exercises. Well, yesterday we will start by focusing on this decision making and the risk and uncertainty. We start to show the different exercises to the different situations in terms of decisions. We show about risk, for instance. We saw about uncertainty. We start to explaining some exercises in terms of uncertainty. And then we start to show you explain different methods. Method of Laplace, pessimistic and optimistic. I think so was the last topic that we saw. And today I need to explain very quick the Harvey criteria on the Savage, and then I will continue to move forward the model 4. So I will retain this exercise in terms of the making decisions, and we show the Laplace criterion in terms of key probability. I think so we explain it. We show the pessimistic criterion and the optimistic criterion as well. And today I would like to explain it, the Harvey criterion. This is the easy version, so say easy version, because, well, a criterion of Harvey said is, well, this author said that the people are or optimisms or very pessimistic. So in order to make a media, depends on the person. So in terms of to make an assessment about Harvey criteria, she said, well, pessimistic person is good. Well, it's good. It's something that is in the atmosphere, and optimism person as well. So Harvey said, well, why not to take in account to be aware about optimism and pessimistic persons at the same time? So this is what he did it, and well, they start to create an alpha. Well, alpha is very easy to understand. Alpha is depend on the optimisms, depend on their own optimism. If you feel that your optimism is very, very low, perhaps the alpha is less than 0.5. However, the expectation of optimism is very high, is over 0.5. In this example, for instance, the decision maker understood that the people that need to make decisions are not very optimistic, and this is the reason that they take an alpha of 0.4. And the pessimistic alpha is very high, could be 0.6. So this decision maker understood that these people that need to make decisions are very not very positive, not neutral, but a little bit negative. This is the reason that he took the zero point 0.4. If you think that the decision makers are very positive, perhaps it's over 0.65, we might consider that could be 0.6 or 0.7, perhaps 0.9 is the same optimism, or 1. If you feel that is 1, you choose the result, it would be the same like the optimistic criteria. So in terms when the alpha is equal 1, the best option is the same. The result of the best of this option is equal the option of optimism. Here, you make the proper calculations and get that the 5, we choose that the insulating election. Well, finally, I will explain the final criteria in terms of making decision. I will talk about the savage criteria. Well, savage criteria, I like a lot of savage criteria, but it's related to people that regrets. You feel regretting involved you do an actions and then you regret. There are some people that when they invest something, they regret. So people that tend to regret, a Shabbat create this criteria. So if people that they're not very optimistic, well, because when they do something, they say, "Oh, I wish I had chosen another option." I don't know if you feel like this. You feel a person that when you decided to carry out a decision, then you regret. But is it the choices for these people? It would be create to carry out the savage criteria. Regrets involves what is called the cost opportunity. It's opportunity cost. Opportunity cost, to some extent, is what you have to do in terms of savage criteria. Opportunity cost, to some extent, is what you lose for doing another course of actions. For instance, if you are in Alicante and you decided to go to the barrio or go to the beach or go to the castle, as said, to visit the castle, 3 actions that you need to choose. Imagine you are students and you need to know people. You come from Erasmus here and you need to know people. Okay, one of the best actions perhaps is, well, you have different choices. No? But going to the barrio, going to the beach to know people, going to visit monuments as well, because you interact with people and you can know other people, or perhaps going to the shop, coffee bar, different places where you know people. Depends on the actions. When it comes to take actions, perhaps you know more people or other people. And when they join these 4 mates join themselves and they discuss it in terms of how is local people they know it. And yesterday, because they can discuss, the coffee bar, I know a person because this was a meeting group. They change conversation, English, Spanish, or different other Europe languages with Spaniards, and we know a lot of people. They can perfect. No? Perhaps you have other choice in the barrio as well. The here in the terms that you will assess is the more people that you know it, perhaps, because depends on the people. They have different assessment, different marks. The group of coffee bar, perhaps they say, well, I knew a lot of people, 20 people, because it was very small. The people that goes to the barrio, perhaps they say, well, even though we were entering different pubs so to know people, I didn't know a lot of people because I was very timid or something like that. I'm not very extroverted person, easygoing person, so I had problems. Huh? Or the people that go to the beach, the same. They face difficulties to enter the conversation. However, the people that went to the coffee bar because there was a moderator and they introduced themselves to introduce, they can't talk to much people because it's in groups. I don't know. So the idea at the end of the day is what you lose it. You lose it. So the people that, the students that went to the barrio, perhaps they say, oh, I wish I had gone to the coffee bar, because if I had gone to the coffee bar, I would have known, I would have known a lot of people. No? The people that went to the beach, the same. Well, I wish I had gone to the coffee bar, because you know a lot of people instead of. So this is the cost opportunity that you lose. I could be here the same. First, you start in self criteria. You start by creating the cost opportunity, the opportunity cost. And this is the opportunity cost that I calculated. How you calculate the opportunity cost? Well, the opportunity cost is calculated, but say, well, what is the maximum? Look at the maximum in different scenarios. In this scenario, for instance, it could be the maximum. In this scenario will be the maximum, and this scenario will be the maximum. So in these three different scenarios, for instance, the opportunity cost is 0, because it's the maximum. If you get the maximum, no one course or actions, it will be better. So in terms of re-rating, first the maximum have 0. This is 0 in terms. Remember that we are not talking about profit. So the opportunity cost. Opportunity cost is what you loses. What you loses is 0. What you loses is 0, and what you loses here is 0, because it's the maximum. As you can see in the table here, for instance, this is 0, this is 0, and this is 0. Okay, so it sounds perfect. And what is the opportunity cost? What is the opportunity cost? What you loses. Well, if you insert here, if you, in terms of code, the best options is to take insulating plastic, because it's the maximum. If there are farmers that take this action, it could be perfect for them, because in this scenario, the winter is cold and you take insulating plastic. However, there are a group of farmers that decided to use a resistant plastic. However, when the winter comes, they face to cold, extreme cold temperatures. And what they lose is? Well, they lose is that they need it to take insulated plastic instead of resistant plastic. So what is the losses? The difference between 20 and 6. So in this case, it's 14. 14 is the losses. The same with the criteria of cold temperatures. So the cold temperatures involves in this perforated plastic. In this case of perforated plastic, you diminish you take the action of perforated plastic. However, you face a winter extremely cold, very cold. Here, well, look at this. You take here minus 3,000 euros. However, if you diminish with 20, you have 23 of losses of cost opportunity. So this is the same. At the end, what is worth is calculated the different cost opportunity. Here, in the second scenario, it will be the same. The scenario shows that it's 0, in that the best options. However, if you take perforated plastic, these actions, the cost opportunity will be 8, as you can see here, and so on. The next, the same in terms of -5. You, instead of taking when the winter is rainy, however, you decided to take insulated plastic, you have minus losses, -5, which is the cost opportunity, -5 plus 10, that is called 15. 15 in terms of the cost, the opportunity cost that you have. And finally, the same, the final scenario in terms of windy scenario could be the same. And here you have the windy is 0, and then you need to diminish resistant plastic. Well, the cost opportunity could be 24, and the cost opportunity would be 18. Look at this, because we are looking about cost of opportunity cost. So there are losses that for not choosing the best choices. So this is very focused on what is called people that regrets. So this criteria is good for people that tend to regret. And for instance, your boss is people to tend to regret, or your The people that the investor are people that regrets it will be better to use sales criterion rather than other criteria. And then when you have this opportunity cost, this is opportunity cost, they are negative, what need to choose? Well, never will use 24 because we are talking about the worst activities. So the idea when you just the worst scenarios is uses the pessimist criteria. The pessimist criteria is choosing the worst scenarios. Here is 18, here is 24, and then 23. And then the best scenario is 15. Remember that when it comes to choosing losses, we are talking about losses. In terms of losses, never we will use 23 because we are talking about losses and we are talking the minimum, that is this in this case scenario is could be 18, 24 and 13. We will choose 18. So 18, the criteria of best course of action in terms of say criteria is to choose insulated plastic. So it's a good, it's another, the final criteria in these exercises. So let me now, before starting the module, these exercises, this is a problem that it states in your exercise 4. The final exercise for the decision-making risk uncertainty is these exercises. So the exercise 1 of the practical assignments on the last topic is to use this, to do these exercises. And here you need to use the different exercises in terms of risk by using the probability. You have a farmer as well. You face different climate change, climates. You say rainy days, normal days, dry days, and you have different strategies to weed, to seed green. And this is for crops. To grow, and in this case, to grow wheat, to grow potatoes, or to grow beet. So beet, potatoes, or wheat, they are the three strategies that you need to do. And you can face in terms of rainy, normal, and dry. Well, depends on when the winter comes, or perhaps you face these products, these scenarios, these strategies, these vegetables face two different profits or losses. It's not good, for instance, wheat is fantastic in terms of rainy days, there's good. However, beet, for instance, is not good when it is rain. Or so they can affect the vegetable for any reasons or whatever. However, it's perfect in terms of normal, or they get the maximum. So this is the exercises that the first questions is in terms of probability, in terms of risk. And when it comes to know about make predictions according to the forecast yesterday on the TV, the presenter of TV program of the weather, they make predictions about how the weather will be in Alicante next spring. No? And they say, well, the spring fall here very, very rare, and the weather, the rainy days very rare in the south of Spain, in Alicante. However, will be good in the south, in the others, the west. The west button on the Spain will be better because storm comes and they will be very rainy. So the same, they make predictions about 30% normal and dry. Well, so the first exercise is about solutions, calculate the expected monetary value. I explain it in terms of expected monetary value. Remember that in terms of expected monetary value, you need to multiply it per any probability. So for carry out the first exercises, you need to multiply this per this, per this, per this, and so on, and then you get the result, and the same. 150 per 30, 200 per 50, and 250 per 10, and minus 100 per 30, 450 per 50, and the same with the result. The maximum result will be the best solution, the best cushion options. If the width, for instance, is the maximum, you say up width, it would be the best solutions in terms of risky situations by knowing the probability. Well, the second question is to, risk is good, but what occurs in terms of uncertainty when I have no idea about the different scenarios that I can face? So I show you the five tools, um, 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 criteria that you need to use here for solving these exercises. Huh? You need to talk about pessimistic, as explained yesterday. We talk about optimisms. You talk about Laplace, the key probability. We talk about Harvey criteria. That is I've just explained it today. About all Harvey criteria, Harvey criteria. About with an optimism coefficient of 0.6. Here is given. So we assume that in this case, this farmer have a very optimistic coefficient. They are not very optimistic. However, they have caution for understanding that you mustn't see all the things in positives. And looking on the bright side, 100% is not the best option. Sometimes you need cautions to take into account that something can happen, something bad can happen, can occur, and can affect the strategy. And finally, the savage. Savage, remember, this is in terms of the opportunity cost. Opportunity cost, regrets that what you've done if I chosen it. So this is the exercises for the topic one. Then we start today with the model 4. This is we talk about something about decision tree, the model 4. Well, decision tree is another part of the taking decisions, making decisions. Decision making has to do sometimes, well, this is about a matrix, or you talk about cars, but decision trees is another way to make decisions. And here I'll show you an exercise, very funny exercises in terms of what the students face in terms of study. They are on exams, students are on exams right now, they sit exams, and sometimes they need to face two different exercises, and sometimes they need to study theory, study practice, or study both. They have no idea about it. It's true that sometimes about the word of mouth, people know about well, the summit will be like that, or it's using for, but sometimes there are professors of the other school that say nothing, and you have no idea about how the summit will be. This is more theoretical or practical, combined exam. So you face three scenarios. However, you have different choices. Perhaps if there are more questions about theoretical. So if I study theory, perhaps I get 8 points. No? If I study practice, for instance, by studying only theoretical, I get 4 points. However, if I get both, perhaps the result is 9 points. No? And in terms of practical, will be the same. By studying theory, by study only practicals, which is 8 points, but in terms of theory, 2 points. However, in terms of study both, you have a good 9 points if the exam is practical. And the same combined examen, when the same is a mix about theoretical and practical. Well, study theory will have problems, 3.5, because I have no idea about the practical exercise. If I study practicals, perhaps I know something, 6.5, and when I study both, it's 9.2 would be the perfect option. So which strategy should a student follow to obtain the maximum score? So that's the point. You say, well, in terms of it, with a professor that they need to show an exam, which is the best strategy? Well, here this decision making show you what is called decision trees. So decision trees is another way to to make decisions. And in this case, for instance, we start by showing the different actions. And here, where we number the nodes, well, here we'll start. I will explain very not try to explain the most important point. Well, we'll start every time we see it to show it. Well, we'll start with the right on the right. No? Here we start here. So we this is our strategy. We face different exams. Will be theory, practice, and more. This is what is called nodes. And the nodes, every nodes have different strategy probabilities that they can be a theoretical exam or practical exam or theoretical and practical exams. Dependent, you know the results here, so you start here, but the triangles with the actions 8 to 3.5, 4, 8, 6, 5, 9, 9.4 that comes from the table. So when you just define it, the nodes with the node, it's time to say, well, at the moment, this is very beautiful. I like it because that didn't show me a response. You have to calculate it in terms of decision trees, what is called the expected value, and that is explained in terms of risk. So the expected value is calculating the probability with the results, and you have the expectation value. It's like by knowing the probability, I note the expected value. The value in this here is 2.75 points. So if you study theory, however, depends on the expected value. In this case, is 2.75. You fail because here in Alicante, University of Alicante, you can take more than 5, more or including 5 or more than 5 to pass this subject. However, you decided to study practice or practical assignments, and the exams is the practice, and you face different theoretical exam, practical exam, or theoretical practical. The expected values is 7.2.9. However, it's both. You study both independently that the theoretical exams or practical exam or the practical exam is combined. You get 9.06. So, which is the best strategy in terms of decision trees? So the maximum of which is choice. As you can see, the maximum is to study both. So I think so then the students say, well, I know it. It's logical, Antonio, to some extent. Yeah, I know it's logical. Yeah, that's for sure. That is logical. You got feeling that, well, this idea perhaps studying, but here, this decision tree show you a way, scientific way to study both. You can demonstrate to anyone that the criteria, in this criteria, it will be studied both according to this scientific data or accurate data that show in the table. So it's another way to make decisions by using the decision tree. So you have different choices. Perhaps you can make decisions by using the risk scenarios, or the uncertainty scenario, or box of them by knowing, for instance, a decision tree. So it's up to you to show you which sort of decisions you can carry out in terms of this topic. So this is the exercise. Look at the exercises of the practical assignments in the second day. The exercise 1, you click on this exercise, the decision makers. The exercise is the same. So the exercise that is given in the PowerPoint presentation is the same. They say calculate the expected monetary value, and then assuming these scenarios, calculating in terms of work, optimistic Laplace, Hardwick of cells. I can show you, the exercise is not necessary to carry out the exercises of decision trees. However, you wanted to carry out decision tree strategy, so it's up to you. The criteria will be the very similar, different choices of action. No? The choices of actions, for instance, by using this criteria. So in terms of the way we say to we use potatoes, plant potatoes to grow potatoes, to grow wheat, or to grow beet. The three decision strategies, and then depends on the probability. So three actions, A, B, C, and then two nodes, 2, 3, 4. The way you put numbers here, we state that this square, that this is decision, is 1 forever. And then the nodes is named 2, 3, and 4. So it will be the same here in terms of the second exercises. You can use this criteria. So the criteria will start, well, depends on, which have probability 30%, probability 50%, probability 10%, and this is the results. The results in terms of width. This is the triangles. The triangle, for instance, you take width, would you say 200%, 200, 250, 290, 200. I'm talking about decision trees, but it's very interesting. In terms of potatoes, the same, 150, 200, and 200, the results. And then because you know the probability, the expected value, you calculate the same numbers. So the numbers will be calculated as we did it here. Well, sometimes it feels complicated, but I like it because it's another way to show you how you calculate this now. Okay. However, in terms of decision trees, I'll only show you the basic characteristics. You do it. You say you understood very well and you wanted to calculate it. Perfect. At the end of the day, what is worth is decided what choice of action, course of action you need to carry out. In this case, it's both. Well, this is the part of decision. This is involved in the part of the decision making and the risk and uncertainty with our examples. For finishing, this is module 4. This is the last module that we need to continue to move forward. So the next topic talk about, this is the 3.3. Here you said about decisions, decision under certain risk and uncertainty. We move forward the 3.4 topic that is called critical thinking. Critical thinking. Well, critical in this criteria of making of decision making strategies. Critical thinking comes when it's important to understand that sometimes you need to be critical with you. It's like it's a very discipline. Said sometimes you need to understand that you critical yourself about what you do, what you are doing is good or not, or something. Is a discipline. It's used for Socrates, Greeks, the Socratic philosophers use it in terms of critical thinking, questioning about a question what you said, a question what you have, question every step of thinking. No? This is the critical thinking. It's very disciplined about it. When it comes to for being critical, you need to understand that sometimes you need to how I might be critical, or what is the process, or is there a tool of being critical? Because I need to question every process. I need to be critical. How you considered all the fact, how you tested these humans? Can you be sure about some bias? Is your thinking process rational, complete? There are a lot of questions that you need to state, so that it has to be questioning. Well, in terms of being practical, in terms when it comes to critical thinkers, we need to use some tool. And I show you the 6 H's example. And I wanted to remind you this example that is very important in terms of critical. So, let me show you only five minutes to re-explain these fantastic six thinking hats that is in terms of the different problems that we face. Remember that the hybrid model. But for me, it's not the exercises, but knowing the important data of being critical. And for me, this model shows you that you are being critical about what you said. Indeed, there are 6 persons that use six hearts with different way to see the point of view. So it's very important for me in terms of being critical when it comes to a meeting, when it comes to a meeting, when it comes to joining groups for students, when it comes to creating an idea, when it comes to whatever actions that you need to carry out. So it would be to use, for instance, the 6 thinking hats in terms of being critical. Well, let's start by it. For remember, white in terms of critical thinking. Well, the first idea is to critical the facts. So this is to being critical involves sometimes that the person need to collect data. They need to be concentrating on facts. This is the role of being critical. So instead of emotions, we focus on the facts. Then we saw the green hat. The green hat, in terms of being critical, is the person that focus on creativity. They show you only the perceptions of being ideas, new ideas, but forgetting, for instance, emotionally, forgetting, for instance, optimisms, forgetting to be how caution, forgetting to be facts or whatever. So the criticism has to do with creativity. And then there are people that need to be critical by showing emotions. Something is very here is very common. They say Spaniards are very emotional. And do we show the emotion in terms of being critical, emotional, being emotionally and critical being is related to when it comes to Spaniards, and they show the emotions to gut feelings, for instance, to show you emotions that you what is your gut feeling said, and you believe it in it instead of despite of the fact, despite the optimisms, despite the negative issues or whatever. And the same in terms of black hat. When it comes to black hearts, this is the lens of caution. This is sometimes people believe that this is a pessimistic person. You don't know. You know it that pessimistic person is appears show you in the way to take make decisions, and in the way of the 6 heart example, the role of black hat. Black hat is when you put your black hat, you criticize everything. You see, every time you criticize yourself, you say, "Wow, this is a fatal. This is a drawback. I wanted to show the drawback." Sometimes this is a piece of advice for people that are very negative here. When you are in groups, you are working in groups, and you saw that someone is very fatal. See the dark instead of looking on the bright side. So you need to take caution of it. You need to say sometimes it's good to talk to, and they say, well, you have 5 minutes to express yourself in terms negative, but after 5 minutes, forget it. You can't say any negative in this conversation. So now it's time to put your black hat and express yourself about every negative. But when it finishes, it's time to stop it and forget it about it. It's time to stop talking and stop to give the opportunity to express other myths. Because sometimes these people are very, I wouldn't say aggressive, but they can manage the conversation in a very long term or during a very long time in a meeting group. Negative and emotional, negative, 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 repeated, repeated, repeated. So keep in mind this when it comes to critical thinking. Then positives person, when it comes to being positive, was perfect. They show you the opportunities, the benefits of an action. So it's perfect. So people are extremely optimistic. You compare to the negative and the extremely positive, there is a big gap. No? And sometimes negatives complain. No? It's the same when I have a good memory about by explaining it for you when it comes to going to hospital. Perhaps I don't know, you've been in a hospital. I expect not. You go to a hospital to be in the hospital to treat in a hospital for a time, over a time, perhaps 1 month, 2 months, perhaps a surgery, perhaps you got broken something or whatever it is. You are expecting to any surgery or the surgery need time. No? Well, sometimes negative person when you see is in the hospital, you say, "Oh, uh, I wish I had no. It's an accident. For instance, cycling. You have. I wish this is an accident. What about lucky? I had an accident. I broke my leg. I broke my my knee. I broke my one of the might I don't know other bones that my shoulder or whatever. So it's a pity. I wish I had known this the gift is car whatever you complain for the backlog. No? This is very negative. The positive person would be different, no? When it comes to the same. If you are two persons in the same room and with the same treatment, how they there, no? How they talk to this instead of complaining about the action that to the bad luck that they had or whatever it is. They say, "Oh, I wish sometimes it's good, no, to stay here. Good for good reason. You need to stay here." Sometimes they say, "Well, it's the first time in my life that I had holidays because I work as um, a freelancer, working as freelancer. And freelancer have a lack of holidays." Huh? And this is the first time because I had holidays because I have holidays here. Here you have a bed, I can TV, I can talk, I have my laptop, I can work here. Also, I'm in holidays as well. So for me, it's perfect, no? Or you are hired by a company, you say, "Oh, it's perfect that this is holidays because I work a lot, I need to be in stress, and now I have time to relax, even though I have broken my shoulders, but I have free time for doing whatever it is." So two perspective of being the life. No? So finally, we will show you about the final um, role in terms of being criticism is the blue one. Is that the supervise the session, supervise the, the, the define what is in the first time and what is in the last one or whatever it is. Supervise the whole session. Okay, but let's back want you just review these six blacks, the white hats. We talk about facts, red hats, emotion, black hat, caution, the yellow hat, positive thinking, green hats, creative, and blue hats when you comes in terms of moderations or monitoring the different action. So let's come back to the topic that we talked to, that is critical thinking. Okay, this is the critical thinking and critical thinking and using this to consider questioning yourself. And this is the first. And let me show you in terms of critical thinking, this is a good tool. We make a very short review about the 6 hearts example, trying to memorize the most important points. And well, imagine for instance these exercises in terms of critical thinking. Critical thinking, imagine that you are in a group of your friends are going out of dinner and you all having a hard time going to place to it, following stories and possible conversations that might happen between all the different hubs to help you understand this conflict. So the idea is that you and your friend decided to go out for dinner one night, and you need to agree with the place to eat. And this is a story of a possible conversation. So sometimes, in terms of the to a story, but we sometimes you start discussing. You start discussing for people that you prefer more vegan, or they all are vegans, for instance. So this is something good in terms of sustainability or circular economy. I think so. But I think so. My perspective, if you are vegans, perhaps you are not consuming meat, and you know that cause creates a negative impact. The meal that you consume creating very negative impact in every resources in a planet. Basically, for instance, meat, to 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 water. Sometimes the water is contaminated by the defecations of these animals, or probably perhaps the much of atmosphere, the gas that they spill from the cows, or as well of the consumptions that you need to eat for being bigger. No? So another way is to try to eat. The less meal you have, the better for the atmosphere. No? It's not possible mass consuming in terms of meat. No? But this is my own perspective. Well, here we show these 6 thinking hats. So we are discussing it, and they say because we don't agree, we need to use this model, this use tool that is called 6 thinking hats. We are using it. So you share different hats for everybody. You share the hat for the one of them, one of the red, another hat, a cup for the yellow, another cup of creativity, green, a cup blue one, and finally black one. And you share with your mates and you say, wait, it's time to think about in terms of to have to get a deal, to tell the So the black one, the white facts, they say, well, why fact? Well, what is my goal of today? For in terms of white fact, you say you need to focus on facts. So this is the conversation will be like, well, in terms of fact, we are very close here, very short distance in terms of there is 3 very restaurants short distance from here. This is the Maria Place or the Toros and the Dorens. So this is the fact. When you wear this hat, you based on data. Data. Look at, don't lose at the perspective that trying to be. This is the example of being critical thinking. So that's good. In terms of facts, there are 3 places. However, feelings is different. When you wear these hats, you said the feelings of emotions spread, and they said, "Oh, there are rumors that the Toros and Doris dinner were unsatisfied and occasionally make customers sick." You said emotions. I feel that Toros is not quite good. And also I read that Donis is very I think they feel customer was sick because one of my friends told me one day and they complained about it or whatever. Oh, okay. Feelings. have the rumors, feelings, gut feelings, rumors, and they are not facts. They are rumors according to one of the mate. They told you that okay, so Toro is a disaster, and Johnny's dinner is a disaster. Okay. So what about being positive? Well, perhaps someone of the group said, "Oh, Maria's place while more expensive has agreed as more fair." Okay. You say this is very expensive, but has agreed as fair, and a great reputation of food. Maria is perfect. Huh? He has won an award for the best Italian in the state and has dessert options. So it's perfect in terms of benefits. And you say Maria Place, as you said, is the best place because they have received awards of Michelin stars or gold folks stars, gold folks, different award, and it's perfect. You read from the social media that this Michelin star or whatever it is, and they're perfect for it. So this is our option. In terms of creativity, someone that is a creativity will be different. Critical thinking, sometimes you need to state something that is different, something that is unusual. So here we try to get a deal with three restaurants. The three restaurants is Maria Place, Toros, and Donny's Dinner, American. But the idea of creativity is something different. So something there, something stays something different. This is what in terms of critical thinking, that this guys say in terms of creativity. They say the idea to cook something at home rather than going to eat in a restaurant could be good for us. So this is something that is not in the inside. We are dealing with different things. We are now just started to deal with other issues, and the issue is to go instead to go into a restaurant to go to home and eat something, cook something at home. Why not? So we might go to the supermarket, to grocery store, or the supermarket because supermarket right now is closed, but having 24 hours, 24 hours shop. Maybe perhaps it's you can't buy something about, I don't know, carrots. We can use carrots. We can use I don't know, different tomatoes and tomatoes. We lettuce or different ingredients and beans and whatever. We can buy perfect, fantastic salad with vegan products as well. We enjoy ourselves and make it. And we can remember we having a good wine, for instance, enjoy with a good wine as well, and we can enjoy memories and ceremony. Right? Why not? Because we are vegan and the options are very limited. Not too bad. It's just creativity. It's something out of ordinary, something out of normal. So we go to another sphere, another level, different level. And finally, you need to, well, finally, before, what about the blue one, blue one hat? The blue one hat, you say, well, blue one is the moderator, but I want to explain is weighted and take the term of caution. Caution before, because I use we tend to, in terms of the exercises, I want to finish with the blue one. Blue one is the first one. Try to moderate when you need to choose what restaurant is good to go to attend this morning, and then which uh, what is the final solution. In terms of caution, perhaps is where we see the dark side. No, we need to focus on the dark side. And the dark side said that what Maria's Place, as the benefit said, is very expensive, very, very expensive than the other two restaurants. The cost of the food will be well, the money they would spend. They do have no clear that Maria Place that they say the optimistic person say that Maria Place will be the better. But they insist on the idea that's very expensive, and you in terms of price and quality have a good balance, and it will be worth it to go to this restaurant because it's not quite sure that the price and quality, this ratio is not very usual, very normal here in terms of this restaurant. You can see the weight of this value in terms of customer, in terms of price and good quality. You don't see the point. Well, by assess the moderator at the end, the moderator the blue one need to moderate it. Need to moderate it. And moderate by using take first the blue one in terms of critical thinking, need to show to the people what's the course of actions, in this case to go to a restaurant to have dinner. However, the process they decided to take this action, and I say these actions is an example, but in this case, for instance, the blue one decided to take initiative and to choose they want to go to one of the three restaurants. They need to the initiative, that is to put a group to a vote and choose whether they wanted to go to one of the three talked about, or if they rather make a homemade meal together. So the action, the critical thinking is we evaluate it by I need to include it, take the initiative to put the group to a vote and choose they want to one of the three restaurants they talk to. The different people talk about different restaurants. However, they include, or if they rather make a homemade and meal together. So in terms of process, and well, everybody, the end, the majority of people after the pool, they decided that that it would be good to go to cook for homemade, as the green had recommended it, instead of, because there are very contradictions, and they need this idea to put the group to a vote, and everybody decided to, instead of going to the restaurants, the majority of people decided that the homemade meal would be perfect for the group. So this is critical thinking, listening to the different points of view, different perspective, to be more prepared to take, to inform and to make decisions. And it would be a good way for using this critical thinking activity. So in terms overall, I would say that in terms of critical thinking, could be good to use the 6 hearts example that we show in the creativity tools in order to be creativity. So the resume of it is that you are joining groups in terms of discussing. It's time to the moderator that was agreeing the blue heart decided, well, we need to discuss it, and every people need to decide. It depends on the heart. Depending on the heart, state some explanations about to make a good course of action. And every time I need to focus on not in what you are feeling now, not what the heart is. You are the heart of red heart, you need to express emotions. However, if you are the green heart, you need to express creativity, being creative. But the yellow heart is being related to being optimistic. You need to express optimism. The lens of caution has to do with the black hats, and finally the white hat has to do with the facts. So for me, it's fantastic, and well, I think it's before mm, finishes for this for the break. I think in 5 minutes, I will 3 or 4 minutes. I will carry out the break of this final session. So this is our final part of the final session for today, that we talk about decision making paralysis. So decision making paralysis is an explanation about when you decided to stop to make decision. Very important when you, because you feel that you are overwhelmed and you decided to stopping intense, or for stopping to make decision for any circumstances. This is called decision making paralysis. This is something that you need to take into account, but we talk about here about make decisions in different ways. So make decision, you have the grid analysis is one of them. Six hats is another way to make decision. Very good in terms of creativity. Perhaps I will start with the six hats. Then I will start with grid analysis. Remember to ponderate. You have the data, you need to ponderate it. It's in terms of score, and then you need to make ponderations, which forces are better, which part are better rather than others, depends on the satisfactions. Then you can discover the criteria of risk criteria using the probabilities. When you know the probability scenarios, this is another way to make decisions. In terms of probability as well. And then you have for the other decisions in terms of uncertainty, and uncertainty is very massive. It's very less, about by show of handling decision, no? Of making decision. No? One of them, you are a very optimistic, perhaps you are a very pessimistic person, or you are you are equiprobable. You feel that probability would be the same. Okay. Saying you are a stable person, you say, well, the way that the probability will be every time is the same. Or perhaps you are more savage, Harwick criterion. No? Harwick, you distinguish people that are very optimistic and people that are very negative, but obvious the people that are in the middle. Okay. So it's like we have groups. By groups, we have pessimistic persons, or we have optimistic persons, but we've forgotten this what is in the middle. This is very important, that I wanted to reinforce this idea, because when I explain it, I don't know if I explain it, but remember, here we take in account here not the middle. You see the scenarios. You have three scenarios. However, in terms of Harwick, they focus only on the maximums and in the minimums. Okay? 20 and minus 5. 20 and minus 5. 10 and minus 8. And 16 and minus 3. So this is the X scenarios that they take in account. So always forget it in the middle. The people that they are wishy-washy, that they are not here in this scenario, is 20 the maximum, the negatives, but workers with the minus 10, they, according to Harwick, obvious. Or resistant plastic, the 10 and the minus 8, they forget it, the 6. And the people that 16 and minus 3, they forget it, the 2. So very, very important to take into account this perspective. Well, and after that, we show the survey. We saw about savage as well. It would be the last way to make decisions. In terms of decision-making strategies, you focus on the idea of the decide in terms of savage, involve, for instance, involves the opportunity cost. how the opportunity cost is. Well, when you just define the opportunity cost, the losses, well, it's time to say, well, this is the losses. So, so if it's the losers, I need to take the best option. The best option, and the best option is to say, well, this is the losses that I have, or the best options would be like this. Huh? It's like you take into account what is the worst scenario, and the best worst, the very worst result that can occur, and then you see the best. I don't know, put an example, but it would be something like, well, if I go to the hospital, what is the worst scenario? Well, the worst scenario would be that I broken my leg, that I got COVID, or perhaps I suffer an attack. But what is the best? Well, perhaps you say, well, perhaps it's got COVID, because got COVID, we have vaccine and not problem with B or something like that. No? That's the worst scenario. Perhaps broken leg would be more time, or perhaps an attack in far. A heart attack would be something very damaged that can affect you in terms of being very aggressive. Huh? So that's just for before the time for relax, time for having a break today. Well, I think so. I need to. Well, it's time for a break. Well, I think in 30 minutes we come back, and then we will start with the final session with the model generating ideas. I think in more or less in 30 minutes we come back later will be the next one.
Yep.
So perfect. So see you soon then.
See you.
Bye bye. In 30 minutes we come back.